Radio Crossing Radio.
Yeah. Don't be wrapped up in your feelings and be careful when you flash it. And when you play the game, man, you better know your options. Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy. It's getting too spicy, I ain't even had my coffee. Don't be wrapped up in your feelings and be careful when you flash it. And when you play the game, man, you better know your options. Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy. It's getting too spicy, I ain't even had my coffee. I'm up early in the morning, time to get it in. Time to show and prove, show you what I've been doing. They saying fools rush in, but I'm coming with a passion. I'm trying to get to know you while you thinking that I'm asking. I like to get it popping, cause my sound is super
Good morning!
So far, and it's early in the morning. I just woke up out my sleep, threw some water on my face. Yeah, it's just another day in the Golden State. Ain't no tossing and turning on, time for a song. I know the best way to make it is to cut the drama and give it my all and follow through on what I promise. And even if I fail, at least I was honest. See, I can only do what's in my power to do, and what good is this power if I use it like a fool? If I wanna make it to the top, I gotta steady cruise. Or I can sit back and just watch the news. Don't try to photocopy, you can never top me. I was born to be your winner, you can never stop me. Don't try to photocopy, you can never top me. I was born to be your winner, you can never stop me. Don't be wrapped up in your feelings and be careful when you flash it. And when you play the game, man, you better know your options. Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy. It's getting too spicy, I ain't even had my coffee. Don't be wrapped up in your feelings and be careful when you flash it. And when you play the game, man, you better know your options. Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy. It's getting too spicy, I ain't even had my coffee. I just put my watch on, you know what time it is. I'm chasing my purpose in this music.
Hold on, we having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me, everyone? Can you hear me? We're having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me this morning? Good morning, everyone. Yes, you can hear me, Dark Tree? Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, I just wanted to make sure. Don't worry, we're getting it back. Good morning, Philly Chica. Good morning, everyone. All right. See, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just never know, right? Okay. But listen, we're going to get this show started, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to be a different show. It's going to be a little bit of a different show. So I hope you all, like I have played early, I hope you all have had your coffee and you're ready to start your Tuesday morning post Labor Day. Give me just 1 second. I'll give you a hint. I'll give all of you a hint. Today, there's Zeus, there's Triple H, but today, Mr. Crossing is back. All right, Mr. Crossing is back because we got a lot of serious matters to address in the kingdom this lovely, lovely morning. But I'm going to give you a hint. Mr. Crossing is truly back. All right, let's see if we can get this thing up and started. All right, I got to get in the mode. Sorry for the delay. I could have done this and then got online, but I said, I got folks like Little Hawk out there. They say, Zeus, if you're not on time, I lose my mind. So I want to make sure. Good morning, Miss Boss Diva. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning? All right. Let's see. If it doesn't work, the show must go on. If it doesn't work, the show must go on. All right, let's see. You know what? Let me get my music going again and make sure it works. All right, let's see.
Good morning.
Okay, I think we got some. Good morning, Yazzie.
Yeah, it's me, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Crossing.
Oh, yes.
I'm one of the most handsome, most attractive men out here on this platform, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we're back.
Let's go. All right, I'm back. Mr. Crossing is back, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Crossing.
Mr. Crossing is back, yeah. Mr. Crossing is back, yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. See, I'm coming with facts, and they all in their feelings. See, I studied through scriptures, and now I'm painting their pictures. Now they call me Godzilla, and
they call me Godzilla.
See, I'm Batman or Robin, I'm taking over your city. You can't be talking to me, cause we don't speak the same language. We not from the same place. My tax bracket shit ain't it. Now they want me to fail, but I will never do that. You may have thought I was gone, but Mr. Crossing is back. Mr. Crossing is back, yeah.
Snuggles.
Mr. Crossing is back, yeah. Mr. Crossing is back, yeah.
Mr. Crossing is back.
Mr. Crossing Radio.
When I say that I'm back, I'm unleashing the beast. You say you ready for war, but you was screaming for peace. Now I'm back from the dead. Michael Jackson the Thriller. You don't know what to think about the man in the mirror. I'm all over the world. Thriller in the Manila. I don't care what you think, but if you click on my link, I say I got me these rats like I was working for free.
That's
You
right.
may have thought I was gone, but Mr. Crossing is back.
Mr. Crossing is back.
Yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. Yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. Yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. See, you got these haters out here that they always be talking about you. They ain't got their money up, you know what I'm saying? They feeling very insecure about it, you know what I'm saying? They might be ugly. They might be feeling a certain type of way about how you look. Don't worry about them, you know what I'm saying? Because when I say Mr. Crossing is back, what I mean by that is don't listen to the haters, okay? Be who you are. Be yourself out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of hate going on in this world. You know what I'm saying? You got politics, you know what I'm saying? You got this whole pandemic and everything like that slowing you down. Don't let nobody ruin your day, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to be on top, but trust me, it gets better when you put it in the work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep working on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them make you feel bad about who you are. Listen, I woke up like this. That's why I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cocky. I just feel good about what I'm doing because I got the experience, baby. Listen, ain't nobody just handing out free money. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work for it. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. You can tell I'm working for it, huh? Jealous? That's your problem. You got girl problems? That's your problem. You know what I'm saying? Your money low? That's your problem. Don't blame nobody else but yourself, ladies and gentlemen. These people out here don't pay them no mind. They ain't got no money on them. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Crossing is out. Okay? But then you know what I'm saying? I think about it this way. Mr. Crossing is back. Mr. Crossing is back. Yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. Yeah. Mr. Crossing is back. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. All right. We're going to go a little bit of a different direction. Great Labor Day. But it's now time to get back to the things that are of utmost importance in the kingdom. All right. So many of you, I normally have my monologue. All right. And I really do hope you all enjoy the energy, the passion that I bring when we do this show every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time with myself and a whole host of amazing panelists. All right. But you know what? There's been a lot of nasty things going on this app that involves friends of mine and, friends of mine on the left and friends of mine on the right, which, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why I'm going to set aside Zeus today. I'm going to set aside Triple H today and bring you all Mr. Crossing. All right. Now, many of you don't know who Mr. Crossing is. Mr. Crossing, this is how this all got started. Snuggles is a good witness of who Mr. Crossing is. Okay, before the politics, Mr. Crossing came onto this app to make sure, one, I could help people who do better in life by sharing my personal experiences with them. Some I can't talk about online, some I can, in the hopes that folks would understand how important it is, to take accountability for their conduct. Good morning. Since I've been on this app, I've gotten to know a lot of great, amazing people, and I ran across quite a few people who I would say aren't so great. They're still struggling to do the right thing. I do brand myself as what they call a Democrat mainstay. So I'm a Democrat. I stand against certain things that are going on, especially when it comes to abuse at all levels, but especially abuse against women. I stand against it. I've held several lives about this. Yet and still, people engage in abuse, and I call it abusive conduct. All right, it's really abusive conduct, and many of you know that Zeus does not engage in any kind of abusive conduct on social media. Number one, it's disgusting. I consider it evil.
It's bad for the brand at the end of the day, and it's counterproductive to what I came on social media to do. So that's number one. Number two, I've made it crystal clear. I don't want to be out here on social media dating anybody. Been there, done that. I'd rather get out here and bring the message and bring, the truth out, and I know a lot of people don't think it's the truth. But this is how this all got started, all right? I've held several lives. Okay, the lives, they didn't swell up to 200 or 300 people, all right? Back when I got started, I only had 5 people in the live. 5, 10, and Snuggles was there, believe it or not. A lot of people get mad at me and they say, Zeus, why do you talk to Snuggles? I've known this guy and his toxic, abusive behavior for quite a while. All right. And believe it or not, he's made a lot of progress. All right. He got a long way to go. I'm not going to say he doesn't. And I'm not going to sit here and try to give him an excuse for his abusive behavior. But I just don't think it's fair to only point out Snuggles' abuse or and ignore all the other abuse that's going on. All right. So I want to make sure we go back to the days of Mr. Crossing so that everybody on this app understands what abuse is and how to stop it. All right. Now, a lot of people think abuse is sometimes just being physical. All right. No, 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 no. Lindsay, good morning. It's a lot of things that go on when people are being abusive, all right? So the first type of abuse, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this is a special live because I really want people. TikTok is supposed to be, or any other social media app, is really a marketing tool, right? This is not supposed to be a place you get on here and get messy, because there's cybersecurity issues with this app. You get out here, you broadcast where you're at, you give them your address. These folks out here aren't wrapped right. These folks out here aren't wrapped too good in the head. Some people aren't. You're putting your life and your family at risk when you get out here and use this app for any other reason other than, either you're out here creating content or you're a consumer. All right. And if you're creating content, please be responsible. And I've been through the ringer with this, all right? And there's a lot of people that know Mr. Crossing and can vouch for this. Jerry, are you here? I don't know if Jerry's here. I don't know if Snuggles is here. All right, so the first kind of abuse, ladies and gentlemen, and I see this going on all the time on this app, it's called emotional abuse, okay? When you are, I got my notes over here. When you are engaging in emotional abuse, you know what you're doing? You're taking up people's space, time, and energy. You're wasting people's time. That's a form of abuse. That's why I don't get on TikTok. I jokingly say I'm not going to argue with Trump supporters, but what I'm making sure I don't do is start getting out here and wasting people's time. All right. Okay. You want an example? Not giving your partner any space. How about that? That's a great example. Not giving your partner any privacy or alone time. Always being in other people's business. All right. Being late. Being consistently late. If you're professional and you show up late, that's a form of emotional abuse. People don't have to wait for you. Be respectful. Don't act like the world owes you a thing. You know how this goes. Messing up the house. How about this? You messed up the house. Now you got to make somebody clean it up. You don't want to wash the dishes. You expect somebody to do it for you. That's emotional abuse. I haven't even gotten to the physical yet. All right. You're going around and you're yelling at people on TikTok. That's emotional. And actually, that's not just emotional abuse. That's going to be another kind of abuse. And why I'm saying this, and I might lose people. They might say, Zeus, you're too mean. I'd rather address this because I don't want no one else to come back to me and say, Zeus, I need you to do this and that with your platform. No, what I won't do is engage in any kind of abusive conduct on my platform. That's absolutely not. All right. And if I see someone being abusive and I'm in a position to really get their ear, and help them understand that they're abusive and they need to stop, I will. But a lot of people don't even want to admit they're abusive because they don't know they're abusive. So I'm helping them understand. And I hope they think about what I'm saying. So you're out here arguing and being nasty and verbally abusive. That's a form of that's verbal abuse, but I'm talking emotional abuse. The next one though is verbal abuse. And this is what's going on out here on TikTok. There's a lot of verbal abuse. I don't take it as personal as I used to. Uh, but when I used to have smaller lives and I knew people more closely, this was the number one thing that went on. Zeus, did you see what this person said in the comments? Zeus, this person is, they brand them as potentially being, toxic in some capacity. Zeus, and then we have these lives that would last for weeks and months about just how disgusting these people are, right? So this is verbal abuse. What is verbal abuse? Statements to scare, threaten, or belittle another person in order to maintain dominance. All right. This includes teasing, you know, taunting. This includes trivializing, thingifying, and threatening. All right. There's a lot of verbal abuse going on this app. And my ask is that any of you, left or right, that get off on threatening and engaging in this type of abuse, my hope is that you acknowledge that you're being abusive and you stop it. All right, it's serious and it does cause a lot of harm to a lot of people. Okay, so we've talked about emotional abuse and we've talked about uh, verbal abuse. All right, and if you want an example of teasing, you know what that is: making fun of people. You see a lot of that, right? Taunting, bullying, and challenging people, okay, just to hurt their feelings, all right? Trivializing, you know what that means? Making someone feel less than they are. Oh, you got a small, they say you got something small. That's verbal abuse. I just so happen to have done the work on myself to understand it and know how to draw healthy boundaries when that does happen. But I don't think a lot of people understand this. And this is why I tell people, if you are if someone's, first of all, if you're in this situation, draw your boundaries, shut the app off, get off, please protect your peace. All right. The next one is physical violence. All right. And this is the one most people think about when they think violence. They think about the physical violence, right? Using physical force and things like that. All right. And I want to make sure people understand I've just gone through three types of abuse: emotional, verbal, and physical. And all of these are bad things that people engage in, and I would encourage you to stop it. Yeah, this is Mr. Crossing today, late. And this is why I came up with the phrase cut it out, right? When I see people doing things they're adults, they're figure it out. But I tell them, I say, cut it out. All right. I see what you're doing. You might not know what's being abusive, but I'm asking you, please cut it out. Bamba, you were there. You were there in my earlier days, right? I mean, I know I'm off topic and this is a smaller live, but sometimes you got to do these things to make sure people understand. It's one thing to think, this. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with all of you. As a guy, as a man, right? We men sometimes don't recognize when we're being abusive, right? Because we tend to have more privileges, and we don't know their privileges until we're called out on it, right? But it took me a long time to recognize that I was being an abusive person, and it wasn't just the physical stuff, right? It was it was this verbal stuff, it's this emotional stuff, and you know what? Economic. You know what economic abuse is? Controlling or limiting access to financial resources, all right? So you have to understand, when you find that someone is pointing out you're being abusive, the first thing is to take accountability for what you are doing. It's not your turn to go, well, how was I being an abuser or abusive? I don't agree with you. That's not what this is about. Stop. Just stop and go cool off and think about it. All right. This is the real work that shows you've grown. This is the real work that shows leadership. This is the real work that needs to be done, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay. So, but to be honest with you, it took a while for me to recognize that, my little, I'm pretty witty, right? I can be very witty, and I mask it as being humorous, right? But I could say some very terrible things, right? And it would literally ruin a person's day, the things that I could come up with and say, or if they said it to me, you know what the first thing you do when somebody says something to you that you think is, very terrible, you turn around and you clap back. That's what they say. We clap back. I match energy. This is what they say. I clap back. I match energy. So if somebody's abusive, you're going to turn around and engage in abusive conduct, right? And let's just do the math. What happens when people go to the extremes when it comes to abuse? They throw away they throw away everything they've worked hard for. They destroy their family, they destroy their community, all because they couldn't acknowledge that they just had the power. They had the power to stop, but their pride got in the way. Yeah, okay, you call it tit for tat. This is what's going on out here on this app. And I'm asking everybody, okay, if you are able to recognize any of these type of abuses that you're committing, I'm asking you to take accountability for what you're doing, okay? It's easy to go and tell, it's very easy for me right now to go, Snuggles is the most toxic male on this app. It's very easy for me. As a matter of fact, it's the easiest thing to do. But you know what's really hard is for me to go, Zeus, you know, when some of the things you're doing, Zeus, it could be abusive, and you need to really stop it. It's very hard for me to do that. It's something I struggle with every day. But when people point it out, I try not to challenge them. I say, you know what, that's something I need to take back to the tool shed and work on. All right, and I encourage all of you to do that. All right. Good morning, Lindsay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because a lot of people who are still engaging in this abusive conduct, they can't tell anybody else how to stop theirs. They've not done the work. If you've been in a relationship before, and I told you about the emotional stuff, going through your partner's phone. How many of you out there have gone through your partner's phone while they're not looking? Anybody out there? Anybody out there, have any of you gone through your exes? You were out there doing this. How many of you left dishes that you probably should have washed, but you said, you know what, they'll wash them. Okay. How many of you are on internet stalking your partner right now? I know I got some. Oh, don't listen, keep it clean. Come on. None of you out there engaged in this stuff? Is it just me? Well, I don't do it, but I've done things, all right? No? I mean, come on. Listen, I thought we were all being Triple H. I thought we were being honest today. So you telling me this stuff is just stuff that I read about but doesn't happen? Yes, one time. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. You got to own up to it. Okay, if you didn't do it, you haven't done. How many of you have threatened your partner or threatened somebody, your kids or something, to say, hey, I'm not giving you a dime because I'm upset with you, right? That's economic abuse. You ain't never done that. I do. Okay, yeah, this is stuff you need to cut out. Okay, the next one, spiritual abuse. How many of you know what that is? Okay, violence that occurs against people because of their spiritual beliefs. All right, and listen, this is a good one, right? Oh, you're not you're not the religious preference I have. It's time for me to use these weapons I got and attack you. This is what people do. It's a form of abuse. All right. I don't stalk on the internet. I don't. But in the past, when you're meeting someone hypothetically, or even if you're in a relationship, sometimes you go, oh, I don't think they're being honest with me. Let me go, and stalk them on social media. I want to go through their friends list. I want to find out who they're talking to. And if I find someone they haven't told me about, I'm gonna start an argument about this. How can you never, see, this is that stuff. This is that stuff people love to do, but don't want to admit that this is what they do. That leads to these nasty situations, all right? All right, you Google them. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll Google. Listen, listen. So now you show up on the date. You show up on the date, and you think you got some information about an individual that you found on the internet, and now you think it's time for you, right, to take your hammer of truth, right? We all walk around with our hammer, and call them out. I looked you up and I found, how many of you have done that? How many of you have done that? By a show of hands, how many of you have done that? And how many of you have gotten it completely wrong? I've done it, gotten it wrong. I found early. I found that early. You can't believe everything you find on the internet. I found that out. You know, if someone breaks trust, just cut them off and move on. It's so hard to do. It's so hard to just cut them off and move on because you want to get your heavy hammer of truth and just destroy the world, right? You want to ruin this person's life. But remember, when you do that, you're not just ruining their life. These people have families. These people are somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's cousin, uncle. You don't know because you feel this way. You feel like it gives you the right to destroy another person. I mean, people really got to dive into this and think about what I'm saying. Okay. I understand this very much because, again, if I played some of my older music that I used to make, a lot of the music that I make, I don't put any profanity in it now. I don't talk about, that stuff they do out there in these streets. I had to purify my entire life in order to get to a place where I call it this is very peaceful. You know, when you're not out here planting these nasty seeds, right? You can sleep better at night, right? Because you know that you woke up every day and you did your best, all right? But when you're living that life, all right, that life, yeah, it's going to come with all of these things that I'm reading about, all right? So I encourage people, again, to recognize whatever things that they may be doing. It's so easy to go, this person is the most abusive person on TikTok. It's very easy to do that. But before you go and get that heavy hammer of yours and start slinging it, ask yourself, could anybody do the same thing to you? Right? Could anybody on this app, could anybody in your personal life call you out just like you're about to go and do this person? Because I've seen this happen to every single content creator since I've been on this app, and I've only been on for 2 years. It goes in waves, right? This week we're getting this person. Next week we're getting this person. Next week, and then guess what ends up happening? Every dog has its day. Next thing you know, 2 weeks, 2 months later, that same person that I used to follow, now they've been brought into some nasty, and you're just like, oh my God, I never would have thought. All right. So that's why, most of you, when you see me on the app, I do my show. To me, TikTok is a marketing tool. I get on here, I do my homework every night, I do my show, and I try to stay out of other people's things because some of it is legal. I don't want to be going to court. I do not want to be going to anybody's courtroom. All right. Stop it. Number one. Number two, these same folks sometimes they end up fighting, they end up becoming friends later. And I'm just like, well, you just, if I were to say, you just wasted my time, right? Now you two are kissing and hugging and what on earth? No. Okay, so I draw my boundaries to maintain my peace, and I encourage all of you to do that. Okay, but it's because I've been here, done that. All right, and it used to be when I only had 5 or 10 people. All right, and they know who they are in this live. All right. So let's get on to the next type of violence. Sexual verbal abuse. How many of you know what sexual verbal abuse is? Oh yeah, anything said to talk or hurt someone because of their sexuality, right? This goes on all over TikTok. This is why I hit that block button. Bloop. Go on about my day. Why? Because I'm not worried so much about you. I know what you got to do. You got to do a lot more work than I do, okay? Because I've been where you're at, and I've done the work to get out of that. You still got to go there. The reason I got to block you is because you ever know somebody perhaps that used to have a drinking problem, used to be addicted to drugs. You ever know these people? You hang around with the wrong people. If you're a person that used to be on that stuff, all right, and you hang out with the people that you used to, you're gonna relapse. There's nothing wrong with cutting people off. Hey, listen, I'm not here to tell you what to do because I know you're an adult, and if they're not asking you for the advice, you really can't give it, right? So you just got to bloop. Well, why did you cut me? Why did you cut me off? Right? This is what they say. Why? Well, do you want to have a serious conversation about that? Because what I'm not going to do is try to police another adult. We don't police other adults, okay? Because we know everybody in here knows, everybody in this platform, everybody on social media knows they don't want anybody else to police them, right? Wait, how many people out there? How many people out there want somebody on TikTok to police you? Raise your hands by a show of hands. How many people out there want someone to police you? By a show of hands. Yeah. I mean, and this is, I'm not saying this to be funny, but this is how, to me, how hard it is to police somebody on social media. That's why I say the best thing is just to cut the app off. They can't get to you. And if somebody, you know how many people say nasty things about me on a daily basis, right? It's the funniest thing at this point. I used to get so upset. Oh, I got my hammer out. Now I tell them, thank you for the free publicity. Thank you. You're spreading my truth, all right? There's millions of people, there's billions of people on this planet. It is mathematically impossible for me to keep up with all of my haters. All right? And eventually these same haters, they turn around and tell me, Zeus, I love what you do. I've seen this stuff happen, and this is why I just say you got to let people learn on their own. You don't got to police these folks. These are adults. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. Don't tell nobody else what to do. If you don't agree with what someone's saying or doing, hit the block button and keep it pushing. You can't police me anytime. Isn't that right, Peace and Lock? We've been blocking a lot of people. We've been getting blocked. Oh yeah, I've been blocked. It used to hurt my feelings when I got blocked. Oh, I'm gonna come back with my other account and question it. Now, if people block me, you know what I say? It's their freedom. They can do whatever they want with the app. It could have been an accident. I could play this game in my head. Why did they block me? Or I could just go on about my day. I've been on this planet 40 years. I really, and in 40 years, I'm pretty sure I'll be okay if somebody blocks me on social media. All right. I'm being honest. All right. Snuggles knows. Me and Snuggles used to have a lot of nasty battles. I mean, nasty. This guy, he was literally copying my content right in front of me, going into other lives and telling people the exact opposite. And I was enraged, right? And I did engage in some of these things that I would say could be considered abusive. And looking back, I'm thinking to myself, like, I could have handled that a lot better, right? I'm being critical of myself. I'm not excusing him of what he's done. He knows he's a grifter. He knows he steals my content. He knows this, but because he's being toxic, I had to also come clean with myself and say, because someone else is being toxic, it does not give me permission to be toxic. It just doesn't. Yeah, you're right, Bamba. Yeah, it was. I found that I was depriving the people who came into my platform. They wanted to, get the entertainment. They wanted to experience what I was doing. But instead of delivering on that, I was engaging in these nasty things that, uh, I learned early, ultimately reset the growth and progress that I had been building on this app. Right? Right. Yeah. And so that's one type of, we talk about that. Oh, what else is there? There's racial abuse. Yeah. You know what racial abuse is? Abusive behavior or violence towards people of a particular race or ethnicity or religion. You hear a lot of this on social media too. And, racism in America, ladies and gentlemen, is a real thing. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, right? Since the founding of this country, bigotry and racism have been at the center of what's been going on. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to go away with one live on TikTok. Let's just be honest about that. Bigotry, racism, sexism, all these things, it's not going to go away with one conversation on TikTok. So please, check yourselves when you find yourselves getting irate with talking about these issues. Make sure you keep in mind that it's simply a conversation you're having with a stranger, all right? And that you need to engage in a way that shows you're mature enough to handle the discussion. And if the people you're talking to, they don't want to meet you halfway, right? If they don't, just drop out of the box and go on about your day. All right. You could use that same hour or two that you were about to invest in putting it with someone who's not ready to receive your message. You could use that and actually go out here and do something very productive. All right. I'm being very sincere and honest with all of you. And I want everyone to understand this app is good. It's good on so many levels because it does give you the opportunity to talk to a lot of people from around the world. But with that, I ask that you all exercise caution. I do. You don't know what a lot of people are dealing with off this camera. And this is another lesson I'm going to tell you. A lot of people are taking medication or they don't have their medication. You ever talk to somebody that was on that stuff? You ever talk to somebody that was on that stuff? You ever talk to somebody that's been drunk? Can you reason with somebody that's on that stuff? No, you're wasting your time. You sound just as ridiculous trying to get somebody. So you got to keep this in mind. Like, to me, this is the thing that I do, right? This is one of the things that I do. When you say things that are obvious to people and they don't get it, one of the things I go, okay, I don't know why they're not getting it. I don't know. And I don't even want to speculate. They could be potentially having mental issues or something. And if they are, I know I'm not a professional and I'm not equipped to handle that. I don't have 2 or 3 hours to give this person. Why would I give somebody that I don't feel is worth it 3 hours of my life and rob the very people in my life that actually care about me of those same 3 hours? Don't you see what you're doing? Don't you see what you're doing? You could be giving that 3 hours to your friends that care about you. You could be giving that 3 hours to your family. Maybe even if you have a job, you could be giving it to your employer and actually making some money. But instead, and if you're a business owner, right? I know a lot of business owners out there who are crying because the economy isn't so good. You're a business owner. You could be investing that same 3 or 4 hours into getting your business off the ground, making sure the employees are taken care of. That's what you should be doing. But that's too much like right, like my mom likes to say, right? It's too much like right. And a lot of folks don't want to do what's too much like right. They'd rather sit out here and allow the devil, this is what she says. They'd rather sit out here and allow the devil to pimp slap them. You know what the devil does after he pimp slaps you? He slaps you and he goes, "Now look at what you did to yourself." This is how the devil, look at Donald Trump. This is why I talk about Donald Trump the way that I do, because he's the one example we all can see that this is happening to. It's, we can go back and forth about zero convictions. We can go back and forth about court documents and news and headlines. It's my pleasure. It really is, because it takes no sweat off my back. I follow it just like all of you. It's easy. But what we can't go back and forth about is whether or not Donald Trump is actually saying this stuff. It's very clear. We can't go back and forth about, is Donald Trump letting the devil pimp slap him? He is. Yeah, look at what you made me do. This is typical abusive conduct right there. You know what? I gotta talk about. You know what? You're gonna make me go to another part of what I want to talk about when it comes to abuse. Uh, Denial. Denial stands for don't even notice I am lying. These are things that continue the cycle of abuse. Denial stands for don't even notice I am lying. Spell it out. Not admitting the truth about your abusive behavior. Yeah, this is Donald Trump. When Donald Trump says this,
but he's a harasser and an abuser.
that hits a little different for Zeus when he says that, because I know what he's saying. It sounds funny. But I know what Trump is saying. He's projecting. He's projecting, yeah. And these things allow the cycle of abuse to continue. Next one, they call it, what do I call it? What do I want to call? So one is blame, or one is denial. Okay, but I'll do blame next. Blame stands for been lying and making excuses, right? This is what blame stands for. A lot of people blame other people for their abusive. Well, you stole $5 from Zeus. You stole $5 from me. So now I am allowed to do X, Y, and Z to you, right? No, you're not. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. Somebody does something wrong to you, you're still subject to the laws of the land like we all are. All right? You really are. All right, you want to match energy, go for it. But you might find yourself in a lot of nasty legal situations. Look at Donald Trump. You can say what you want to say about it, but I would argue if he would have kept his mouth shut, he probably wouldn't be in this deep of a bad situation with the Department of Justice. If he would have just kept his mouth shut. But if you want to go online and you want to threaten people, you want to antagonize, you want to bully, you want to blame, you want to engage in these things, this is what you're going to get. And don't be surprised when you get it, because you let the devil pimp slap you. All right? I used to do this, all right? When I was a child, I could reflect on a lot of the back in my time, and you would I'm older. When I used to get a lot of whoopings in life, right? And I tell these stories very proudly now, right? A lot of the times that I was in that space, okay, what did you do? You went to school and what did you do? Well, I got 4 D's and an F, right? Real story. I got 4 D's and an F in the 8th grade, right? And what was my excuse? You know what it was? The excuse was, I was mad. I was mad that I didn't get a toy at Christmas time. I was mad and I was protesting. Yeah. Was that a good idea? Was that a good idea? Absolutely not. And I paid for it dearly, right? So you had to do the math. Not only did I end up with 4 D's and an F, right? But I also got my behind whooped, right? That's 2 L's. I mean, goodness gracious. And it went worse. My brothers and they were laughing at me. How in the world did you let this happen? Okay, so I learned early at that point that, sometimes in life, what looks like you taking an L really isn't. It's really you taking the high road. All right. Yeah, you got that. Yeah, you're right. All right. All right. You know what else is abuse? They call it collusion. You ever heard of the term collusion? hmm You know what it is? You know what collusion is? Joining in the idea that abusive behavior is necessary and acceptable. This is the part on TikTok I see a lot of. Let's go. Let's go rush them. Let's go rush her. Let's get her. Let's get him. This is that collusion. It's abuse. And if you've been one of those people that have allowed yourself to be sucked into somebody's abusive conduct, it's time for you to look at yourself and say, you know what? Is this really something I'm supposed to be doing? Or is this something I'm not supposed to be doing? If somebody this is what I tell people. What baffles me, especially on social media, is folks get out here, yeah, they get into relationships or situations, I should say. They get into these situations all by themselves, right? You know what they do? I'm gonna go over here and get into some stuff with this person. Did they consult Zeus when they did it? No, they didn't. Did they consult this person? No. They went and did it all by themselves. All right. And then things didn't go the way they wanted them to go. And now they want everybody in the world to rally to their defense. right? You ever seen these situations, all right? And I have to think to myself, as a business owner, right? I don't know many of you, but a lot of us, we're business owners. The first thing you got to think to yourself is this a situation that I should put my entire organization or my entire company at risk for? 99.9% of the time, it's a situation you should not do that, because you got a lot of people that depend on you, your family, those employees. You should not be putting your business at risk on social media at all. You shouldn't. There's a difference. What did you say? There's a difference between taking up for yourself in a tactful way and taking the low road. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so you see these people and you go, my dad taught me this. And I go to my dad. He was in the Air Force. He was in the Air Force. Son, did you need my help getting into that? And I had to be honest. No. Well, you don't need my help getting out. Handle your business, son. This is what my dad said to me. I mean, I said, wow, talk about a jerk, right? This is what I'm saying in my head. But, I meditated on it and I'm going, he's right. This is what he said, I have the same problems you have. You want me to start having you come help me with my problems? Here's the bills. This is what he said. Here's the bills. Okay, let me tell you what you and your mom what your mom got me doing. This is what you tell me. And by the time he was in the Air Force, he'd tell me what they did to him. By the time he started telling me what he was going through, I'd be like, yeah, I think I got something else to do besides bother this guy. He's over here. He's tripping, right? Yeah, I learned very early. You get yourself in, get yourself out. And listen, and if sometimes getting out means you got to take a L, do it. Whatever that L is, take it and count your losses and go run. Because you cannot get time back. Folks, you can't get time back. Yeah, you can't. I'm telling you all these stories as, this is the Mr. Crossing. A lot of people, when they come in my live and they say, I miss the old Mr. Crossing, because, now I do mainly political topics, right? This is what they're talking about. This is the real information that's going to help make you a better person, right? Outside of politics, this is what I got on TikTok and was doing. In addition to, promoting my music and promoting my merchandise. This is what this was all about. All right. So I know I went well over my monologue, and I have not covered one single thing political, and I intentionally did that because today's live is my plea to all of you. Today's live. Thank you, Peace and Luck. It's not about how many people I could get in here. It's not about the gifts or the subscribers. It's really about making sure we all understand the power we have on social media. All right? It's about, thank you, Wakanda, for that. It's about understanding how important it is to take accountability for your own actions at the end of the day. I would encourage all of you to spend the time you have, 90% of it, most of it, looking in the mirror and identifying what abusive conduct you're doing, all right, and owning it, and saying, you know what, I want to stop it today. You can't go back and fix things, all right. I know a lot of times, and this is what a lot of people think. Well, I want them to hear my side of the story. This is what a lot of people think. I want them to hear my side of the story, because if they just heard it, they would understand. Those people don't owe you. People don't owe you an explanation. You just stick to doing what you know you should be doing, which is stopping yourself so that you don't get into any more trouble. That's what you need to do. You don't need to go in don't go crying to nobody else about so and so. No. Start with yourself. And I guarantee you, as difficult as this sounds, it will also be the most liberating experience of your life. I'm being very honest with you. Nobody could blame people better than Zeus. All right, I'm being honest. No one. I had the ability. It was a super. I mean, you think I have superpowers now? I had the magical ability to be a great manipulator because I know a lot of information. I know how to research, and actually, I know how to do a lot of other things. And I would argue, weaponize that stuff in a way to make people think that they are bad, not me. Or if they think I'm bad, at least make them think that I think they're bad and use that to justify doing nasty things, right? Uh, but that was a very stressful life. It's very stressful. You can't sleep at night. You got to watch your back all the time. But when I finally had to have my aha moment, right? When I had to have my aha moment, I said, you know what? They can think about me whatever they want at the end of the day. And I had to own it. Yeah, I've done a lot of nasty things. I have. I have. I thought it was fun at first, but then I found out it was very terrible. Some people, they've allowed me, to at least say, hey, I'm so sorry. Others, they don't. They don't. And that's fine. I just hope that through my work that I've done on myself, right, they can see that, there was a change. I hope that, when, my parents, they see me, and my grandmother, she sees me, my friends, they see me. I hope they also recognize the change, right? And I hope they understood uh, the change that happened wasn't necessarily because they told me, they made me aware of it, but it's really because I was committed to doing the work. All right. And that's what I ask all of you to do. Please, please be committed to doing the work on yourselves to stop your violence. All right. And a special acknowledgement needs to go to the women out here, men. All right. A lot of us men, like I said earlier, you've been listening to this. You've been listening to this country music, perhaps, right? You've been listening to this rap music, perhaps, right? And you've gotten the impression that it's okay to treat women a certain way. I encourage you to cut it out, all right? Because most of the stuff you hear in these songs and then see in these movies that you read about online, you're probably cruising through YouTube and they're giving you I call it fake gain. This is how you get a woman. A woman should do this. All that stuff you consume. I encourage you to cut that stuff off and do the work on yourself so that you can have real meaningful relationships. Listen, men, there's nothing wrong with you being your authentic self. And if that means you appear weak or you appear vulnerable, there's nothing wrong with that. All right? Grow up. All right? You can learn a lot if you just listen. All right? I'm being very serious. All right? All right. Now I went well over my time slot, and I'm willing to have conversations with people today because I want to make sure folks understand as much fun as Zeus does have on this app, talking politics. What I will not be doing is what I will not be doing is allowing my platform to be used to facilitate any of these types of abuses. All right. Now, when it comes to talking about people, all right, when it comes to talking about some of my friends, I have a lot of friends out here. All right. What I do is a lot different than what you do. All right. All right. I'm doing it more as, an entertaining thing. I don't take anything that these people do on TikTok about me personal. All right. Because I'm only here for an hour and a half, maybe sometimes a little more if I do the closet of truth. And then I'm out. I'm out in the kingdom tending to what's important. I mean, you all are very important, but what I don't do is encourage this crap. All right, because I've seen a lot of people's lives get ruined. All right. We have somebody. Yeah, Nutty Professor. Nutty Professor. How are you doing? Paulette, greetings.
So what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. So you put things in perspective. Over the weekend, this has been a weird weekend,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um, Starting, I stay away from the drama, especially the TikTok drama.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow this weekend I got involved in the TikTok drama,
Right.
and that's I'm now I'm like the Burning Man chaos. It's like
Yeah.
I'm doing a mass exodus because me and drama just don't get along.
Nope.
And I
Eh,
honestly, in my real life, because TikTok doesn't consume my life,
right.
in real life, I am just too busy with real life to be
Yeah.
involved in TikTok drama. So I appreciate the fact that you took the time and you veered away from your normal live to say your piece.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that because it
Yeah.
puts things back in perspective that, we may disagree with each other. We don't even have to like each other. But the
Right.
one thing that we should do is respect each other enough that even if I don't like you, I can be like, you know what? God bless you. Now kick rocks
Yeah.
and pretty much leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the gaslighting, people doxing, it's too much. It's ridiculous, and it's just dumb. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to hop in and just give you kudos. I appreciate what you said, because that put things back in perspective, even for me. That
Yeah.
listen, I ain't got time for this drama. I ain't got time for you. And we laugh and we joke around about the MAGA demons, but at the end of the day, you know, there's unfortunately, I still wonder if they're people, but I guess they're still people too.
They're people.
But we can just agree to disagree and keep it moving. We don't have to hate.
Right. You
I
don't.
hate
You
their
don't.
politics.
You don't. You
I hate
don't
their
have to
politics.
hate.
Yeah,
But
we
what
can hate
about
their
taking
politics and their
accountability?
ideology, but we don't have to hate them.
Right. But what about the part where I was talking about how important it is for each of us to do an assessment of our own type of abuse we might be committing?
Oh, uh, dude, you hit the target. Like
Yeah.
you hit me dead in the nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because how many times have I said on your live that we all need to do a little Michael Jackson and look at the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
And when we
Yeah.
look at ourselves in the mirror and really do a self-assessment, 9 times out of 10, we're not gonna like what we see. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about you, but I'm more critical on myself than anybody can ever be on me.
Yeah. I believe it.
So absolutely. So I wanted
Good
to just
point.
give you kudos, and it's funny because this excuse me, this live was needed today.
Right. It was.
This
I mean,
this was needed.
I know a lot of people, or I indirectly hear about things, and the energy's out there, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna put Zeus and Triple H aside. We're gonna get back to Mr. Crossing content for a second, all right? Until we all understand how to conduct ourselves on this app.
Yeah, yeah. So not only do we need to hold each other accountable, but we can't hold each other accountable until we hold ourselves accountable first.
Bingo, bingo. Yeah, and
So,
you gotta do the work on yourself.
oh, for sure, for
You
sure.
got to be willing
So,
to let people feel and say whatever they want about you and still have self control.
you know what, Zeus? I used to have a temper. I could go from 0 to 100 in less than a half a second
Yeah.
because somebody would say something and talk about me. But my grandmama, I remember it vividly, rest her soul. She said to me, they talked about Jesus. What makes you think you're more important than Jesus?
Facts. Yeah.
And I used to hate when she said, I used to hate it, man. I
Yeah.
get it now. I get it now.
Mm,
I clearly would tell folks that I'm happy with my Christianity, and I'm proud of my Christianity, that I am a Christian. And
mm,
so I am a follower of Jesus. And so therefore, what makes me think I'm more important than my Savior?
mm.
That they can't talk about me. She would pretty much she'd be, in her own words, she told me just suck it up and get over it.
Yeah.
So this live was needed today, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I
So
appreciate it as well, my brother. All right. And we're going to get through it. We'll get through this.
yes, sir. Have a good one.
All All right. All right. Thank you, Nutty Professor. See, ladies and gentlemen, see, we still here telling the truth. Listen, we still keeping the truth here today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make no mistake. All right. But we're making sure we all have a different understanding about our conduct on this app. All right. This is very serious. All right. Uh-oh. Okay, let me bring up my good friend Angela. Welcome, Angela. How are you doing this morning?
Did you say
Hello?
uh-oh?
No, no, no. I'm sorry.
Angela, uh-oh.
I was stuttering, perhaps.
Well,
But
good
how are you doing
morning.
this morning?
I'm okay. I'm doing well.
Uh,
And this, I couldn't agree with Nutty Professor more. This was a much needed live. When I heard you addressing this topic, I was like, wow, this is perfect. We need to stop. The temperature is just way too high. We need to take it down. There are many people going through a lot of types of bullying, many that you
correct.
mentioned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I think a mistake that I've made is to what they call breathe oxygen
Mm,
into certain situations where, you know, people say these things about you, and it goes on and on and on, and then
mm-hmm.
you let it get to you more than you should. And and then you engage because you think you have to defend yourself, right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
situation I just recently went through was literally a group of people holding a live specifically about me.
Mm.
Um, and I was told about it, and I was going to just stay out of it. Just let them do it, Angela. Just let them do
So,
it,
mm.
you know?
So let me ask you this, right? Because and I'm going to let you continue this, but would you say, if we were to identify the types of abuse that was going on, right? People having a live about you. Would it be possible to say that's what we would call that, what, verbal abuse, perhaps? There's some verbal abuse going on and some collusion.
Yes,
There's some
absolutely.
collusion, right? People are bringing you into something. So you have to train your mind to recognize this is what's going on. But please continue.
Yes, definitely verbal abuse for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but what I ran into was somebody sends me the link, and I saw a picture of my children in there.
Right.
And I was going to stay away still. And
Mm.
then I saw my son that
Yeah.
serves our country standing there in uniform, making him vulnerable,
Right.
and a minor child of mine.
Mm.
And I went in, and I looked back, and I shouldn't have.
So I
Um,
mean, and I'm sorry that that happened to you. And these are the things that go
these are
on.
the
I'm glad
yeah,
I'm glad you feel, you have the strength to share that experience with those of us out here who may not have gone through that, so that they can, be aware that these are the things that could potentially happen on
yeah.
social media to you, right?
And I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here trying to say I am. But just we need to stay away from these things no matter what. I mean, I spoke to you about it, and you gave me words of encouragement, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we really just gotta, if that's being done to you, stop engaging. Stop thinking you said something in this thing, to stop thinking you have to defend yourself. Just not worry. Just
Yeah, you
let
don't want
them.
to. So, in terms of, accountability, because I got to ask you, like I did Nutty, right? So, from what I'm hearing about that particular incident, I would
Mhm.
actually go and add there was emotional violence or abuse, there was verbal abuse, all right, uh, and so and then there was that collusion element, right? You have friends that or people on this app that will send you links hypothetically, right? As you
Yeah,
said, right?
yeah, yeah,
This and they know your personality, and when you get it's going to put you in a space where, what I like to say, you have a fatal peril, right? And a fatal peril is that moment in time where you make the decision to say, am I going to choose peace or am I going to choose violence?
Correct.
Are you basically saying today that you are going to, do more on your end to be aware when you are experiencing these fatal perils and work on how to choose more of a path of peace?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
And don't and I
I,
get those same links though. I want to encourage you. A
yeah,
lot of people get those same links. I get a lot of links about people and they say a lot of nasty things.
yeah.
I'm not trying to minimize what you're going through, but I'm trying to make sure you know there's light at the end of the tunnel because you still are in control
Right.
no matter what. Whether you choose violence or whether you choose peace, you're still in control.
What I have asked people to do, and for anybody in here, I know a lot of people in here know what happened, and I appreciate your support. I really
Yeah,
do. But honestly, I don't want those links sent to me. I don't. Not anymore.
there you go. Draw your boundaries.
I don't want them sent to me. I have to let people just do what they do. And because I have to protect my peace when this rolls over into what I call real life.
Yeah,
That's when it's gone too far. And I did reach out in a way that was
yeah.
kind of aggressive even on my part.
Thank
I
you
held
for
the line.
admitting that. Thank you for acknowledging that. See, Angela, I knew you would get there. I knew you would
I
figure it out.
I held a line that said, "Okay, come over here, come over here."
Yeah,
But my goal was to make it stop. But it got contentious
yeah.
during
You
that
you
time,
you
which
can see perhaps by holding alive, you facilitated more abuse. You can see how
correct.
that can.
I
Yeah,
held a lot of stuff in for many, many months, and it came out after that incident. And I held that live, and I said, you will come over here and you will talk to me." I did, and that is not my personality, Zeus. It is not.
right.
But I did
I
that. And it may have been right or wrong. I don't know. But my end goal was to make it stop. You stop saying what you're saying. I stop saying what I'm saying. And everybody move on with their lives to
yeah,
protect their
yeah.
peace. Because what I call in real life should not be
But
okay.
now I hear that, but I want to also make sure you know where I am at mentally. I am aware that it could potentially creep up again, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that you now have these tools at your disposal, all right, to say if this somehow should creep up again, I am in control of myself still, that I
Mm-hmm.
know not to, like you say, give it oxygen,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. There was another video made about me this morning in regard to that.
Okay.
And a friend of mine sent it to me. I said, "I don't care. I don't.
Yeah.
I cannot let it affect
Yeah.
me
And
any
and
more."
ask and you have to ask your friends, and I think you made it clear today. Please don't send me any
No.
videos because where you're at right now, you're not in a good space to where you can actually handle that video. Right now, I
I
can see it. I see videos about me because I've done enough work on myself to know how to put it in its proper context, and I'm going to use the video to make more entertainment. But if you're not there yet, yeah,
right.
just please don't send it.
Yeah. For anybody in here, I love y'all. You might be trying to look out for me, but the way to look out for me is to just not send me anything. I can't. You're right. I'm in a place now where I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah,
So what I'm doing, and I actually, with a person, made an
yeah.
agreement, and I will keep my end to stay
Okay,
where you are, and I stay where I am,
fair
and I
enough.
will honor that.
All right.
I will honor that. So, for anybody else, if I could give any advice after 4 months of this, and you're frustrated, what you do is you work on yourself to tell yourself this is not worth your energy. Focus on your children or whatever it
Mm,
is that makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I think.
keep in mind this is just a marketing tool. TikTok is just a
Absolutely.
marketing.
Yep.
Social media is
So
a marketing tool, and it's not meant for you to be putting your personal stuff out. All right. Well, listen,
absolutely. So
we can talk.
that's my thing. That's it.
Yeah.
All I wanted to
All right.
say. So
Well,
thanks
thank
for
you.
having me up.
You're welcome, and I appreciate you. Having the courage to share that with all of us today. All right.
Thanks for having me up. Have a good day.
All right. You too, ladies and gentlemen. My good friend Angela. See, it's not too hard for us to do this, ladies and gentlemen. It really isn't. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Yazzie. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning, Yazzie?
Hey, good morning, all
Hey,
my lovely friends in Zeus. How are you? I am tired, everybody. I'm tired.
I know, but hopefully you get some rest.
Oh, we had electricity problems last night. Good old rural Colorado problems.
Okay.
But, also, I also had a really unfortunate news. We had a good friend that worked with my sister at the IRS for 16 years. He was visually impaired and he was an albino Black person.
Mm.
And he had struggled with that for a long time, and he had gotten married, and his wife left him for a man that could see. And he had two daughters, though, but one was bullied a lot for being LGBTQ and took her own life a couple of years ago. And he has now, he is not suffering, and he is gone now too.
Oh
And I
my.
just want to tell people, that's why I'm here to defend people, because we, all marginalized groups, have the right to exist.
Right.
LGBTQ people, you don't know what your words do. And Ron, who was such a good human, he had suffered, so he actually went into foster care because
Oh
his
my
parents were
goodness.
both visually impaired and they couldn't care for him. And they got into
Wow.
drugs. And so our family is the family that we take everybody, and you become our family. And so he spent every Christmas, every holiday, birthdays, and all the time. We just, because he was visually impaired. I mean, when Uber was invented and lived, he could come and spend more time, or my sister or her husband would go pick him up. He was just a really good human, and his daughter passing away and not being able to defend her, and all his struggles all his life,
Mm.
and he could not get past that. His daughter had been bullied so much, and she took her life, and now this. And then on Friday, I had a baby pass in my. I mean, I know that's what I do for a
Oh my
living.
gosh.
I had a patient. He was very small, very little, and didn't develop at all his internal parts. I just want to tell people, and I know I am easily brought in because I'm a defender. Ultimately I can turn off this app and I uninstall it and I unplug for a few days. But ultimately, I need to help fight for marginalized groups and people. We need good legislation. Everyone should have the same right to love and to care for each other. And women should have the right to their reproductive rights, however they want to take care or terminate a pregnancy or not carry a baby. We should not be telling women what to do with their bodies. And I just want to
Right.
say, it's just, I am strong enough. I know my life is probably boring to most people, but it's my farm. It's my life. I love it. I think I have a pretty good life. It's my life.
Right.
I can shut it all off. I have a good support system, but I worry about all these marginalized groups and women, especially because I get harassed all the time. I mean, the DMs that people tell me, oh my gosh. But I'm
Right.
like, yeah, whatever. You don't pay my bills. You're not
Right.
gonna. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's fine. But they're like, you support BLM, you should die or something. We're gonna boycott. You don't even
Yeah.
whatever. What is wrong with? I mean, they send all kinds of kooky messages or tell me that they're the love of my lives or they're gonna get me, and I'm like, all right, well, whatever.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I just want to tell you guys that LGBTQ, marginalized groups, elderly, the poor, the weak, the sick, our Black friends, our Mexican, all our brown people friends. I mean, they're being attacked, and we had to help defend them with their rights. We got to fight for the right causes, and
Right.
not like, and I can't say I don't take things personally about myself. I mean, because I'm a little thick, I'm a little heavy. I get it, whatever. And maybe I do have a crazy smile. I don't know. At the end of the day, who cares? At, they say all kinds of weird things. I just want to tell you
Right.
guys, life is so precious and it can be taken away so quickly. And also, I don't put up with that COVID negativity because I did hospice. You know, they had to take me
Mm-hmm.
out of my pediatric waiver, and I had to help plus 300 people through hospice care due to COVID. Okay. So you guys
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me about vaccines or that they don't work. The people that were in my hospice care were non vaccinators who didn't believe and were telling me at the end they wish they could have go back and get it. So you guys just, I don't let that misinformation come across me. I get pretty angry and I get kind of nasty. I've said some pretty nasty things like, because it's just I've watched people die. Take care of people dying till their
Right.
last breath, and y'all can't tell me until you're with that many people and babies, and you watch people take their last breath. You're never gonna convince me that you guys are not the cause of this by not getting vaccinated or not caring for one each other. So, I just want to tell you thank you for your message today.
You're
I
welcome.
see a therapist. I see a therapist too because I would like to not do hospice care, but then I know that babies cannot come home to rural America, and I understand that. And I've tried to hire more help, but it's okay. I mean, it's hard, but at the end of the day, I'm a supporter. I'm here to help defend women's rights and
All right.
marginalized groups because I care a lot, especially
Yeah.
a road to immigration for all these immigrants who should have some right to be here. So thank you for just being users, for just being Triple H. And
Mm-hmm.
my favorite H today is the most humble and honest. Oh
Yeah.
man, whatever. I love all of them. But thank you
All right.
so much for everything you do for us.
All right. Yazzie.
And
Well,
sorry
listen.
for crying.
Thank you.
It's just a
No.
lot. I just can't believe two people today.
No.
I don't
No.
know.
No. It was
It's a lot.
needed. It was needed, and we're sorry for the loss that you're going through. But the work you're doing. You know, it just shows how much strength you have. I really don't know how you run a farm and do all of the work you do in the pediatrics. I mean, it's definitely impressive. And then on top of that, you're giving voices to these communities that, traditionally don't get heard. So I completely understand where you're coming from, and thank you for sharing that this morning. All right.
Well, thank you for lifting me up too. And
You're
always thank
welcome.
you for your good advice, Zeus. I appreciate everything you always say to me. You always make so much sense.
I
So
try. I
appreciate
really
you
do
a lot.
try. I try. All right. You got a
Same.
lot of
Lots
people
of love
in.
here.
All
Okay,
right.
well, thank you, everybody. I am driving like usual. I am driving to my office. I have a lot of,
Okay.
I have to meet with a coroner and
Okay.
just some things. I just want to tell people this is real and you guys don't want to be the cause of someone taking their life, okay? You don't want to, and don't take TikTok seriously. Like Zoo said, this is just an app to have fun on, okay? And find mutuals. You know, be safe to yourself because be true to yourself because these people are not, I mean, some of them do mean stuff to us, of course they do, but ultimately you are what matters. You yourself, everybody. You have to find yourself your strength, Sticks
Mm-hmm.
and stones, people, sticks and stones. Who cares what they say? Sticks and stones,
Yeah,
you know? Okay,
exactly.
well, take care. Love you all. Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right. You too. Love you as well.
See
And
you
stay
guys.
safe out
Thank
there.
you.
All right. All right. No lies detected once again.
I always do.
All right. No lies detected, right, ladies and gentlemen? See, this is a great
Oh, sorry.
this is a great
Sorry.
great conversation. Don't worry, I got you, Yazzie. Don't worry. This is a great conversation. All right, because what we've got to do is take accountability for our actions, all right? And I think Yazzie has raised a very good point. Keeping in mind uh, how your words can negatively impact people, especially when you aren't aware people are actually suffering. Yeah, that's deep right there. That's deep. Let me bring up Shay. Snuggles, I see you. Don't worry, Snuggles. Uh,
Don't worry about being late to your business, Snuggles. Don't worry. This is
Hey,
more
how are you?
important. Good
Hey,
morning. Good morning, Shay. How are you?
good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am glad I didn't get to catch
Mm.
most of this, but and what you were addressing over the weekend. My son was home from college, so I didn't see. I really kind of took a break from TikTok this weekend
Oh.
because there is so much that goes on this app that it's hard. And I've come close to making a few videos addressing a few things that I know are being said about me. And in the end of the day, I just breathe and say, you know what, and remind myself, Shay, this is just an app. And I have people on here that I care about, and I've enjoyed it. I've been here for 3 years, and I've enjoyed being on so many different platforms in your amazing space that you create for all of us every day. And it's great. And I enjoy the good conversation. Good morning, Boss Diva. And there's just great people here. There really is. There's such great people here. And that's what
Hmm.
keeps me here. But at the end of the day, I don't if I don't need to address any of it because humans are humans, and we can't allow their emotions at the time, their need to whatever at the time affect who you are. You have to stay true to yourself. I
Hmm.
know who I am. I know who I am. And I know it's in my heart. And I know my intentions. If you take it another way, that's on you. That's not on me. It just isn't. And
Right.
I'm glad that you're addressing this because it is important. And yeah, there's a lot of negativity here, Lord Seven. There is. And I think that a lot of people want to dwell in negativity. They enjoy that. It makes them feel good. But then at the same time, it can't make them feel good, you know?
Mm-mm.
And I know it doesn't, but at the time they feel the need to do that. And so I do give you all that advice. I've been wrapped up in dramas before here on the app, and I've handled it good ways and bad ways. I've handled it
Hmm.
as a human does, right? And we're all human
Yeah.
on this app. We get our feelings hurt, we get angry, we get sad, and we feel like we have to, defend ourselves, like Angie was saying. And I'm glad that she addressed that because it is that. And I understood where she came from on all of it because, yeah,
Right.
you see pictures of your children. I'm sorry, I'm a mama bear. Don't mess with
Yeah.
kids, man. You
Yeah.
can call me names, you can put my name, you can do whatever you want, but oh my God, you say something about my child or put my child's image up, that is to me a different road. And so if you are doxing people and you're doing these horrible things on this app, you're not a good human being. You're just not. And you're dangerous to people because in the end of the day, we all try to maintain some kind of anonymity on this app. And yes, you guys all know I have 2 sons and I sell wine and teach about wine for a living. You know that I'm married outside and I live in Texas, Houston, Texas. Those are the things you always should know about me. I don't want you to know anything else. I've shared my experiences because that's who I am. I love you too, Angie. And I share my experiences because I am that. I'm a teacher. I want you to
Mm.
know that I come from this area. I live a wonderful life now, but it wasn't always that way. I try to share what knowledge and growth I've had throughout my life. And I've also shared with you, I am not perfect.
Right.
I'm not perfect. I'm going to react. I'm going to do certain things. And I also will own my shit. I will say
Mm.
I'm sorry. I will say I made a mistake. I will
Yeah.
do. And so, what I want to implore all of you to do is if you hear something that someone said, or you see something on that stupid Twisted Tea or whatever, if you truly say that you're a friend of that person, then reach out to that person and say, hey, what's going on here? What happened? Instead of taking sides instead of taking, talking about people behind their backs, instead of spreading
Mm.
misinformation, because none of that helps. Because in the end of the day, as I've always said, I am here to talk about politics. We have an election in a year, literally.
Hmm.
And all of us, there's some stuff going on the left, but all that does is distract us from what we're doing, and the right loves it, and vice versa, right? I would say I give Snuggles, I give everyone on the right the same exact advice. When we see you infighting, we love it. right? Because in the end of the day, we're sadly like, oh, yay, they're kind of going to disperse. And, you know, we feel like
Mm.
this tit for tat, we're in this campaign against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish we would stop that as well. I really do.
Yeah, I die when I go into a live and I see it's getting out of the world of politics and entertainment. I just leave.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
where I'm at. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle it's on. It's not productive. I've done the math and I've just said, it doesn't help me be a better person in any way.
No, no, it doesn't. And, you know, I don't agree if anybody, you know, hoped Snuggles had cancer. That's awful. We can't be here and everybody's human here. I don't have to agree with you. And yeah,
Hmm.
even if you're an awful human being and you have racist tendencies, I still don't wish harm upon you. I just don't. I just
Yep.
don't need to deal with you. I
Yep.
don't need to talk to you. I don't need to be in your circle because, you know, and that's how I can handle it, right?
Yep. Just draw your boundaries.
Yeah, sassy. Someone did. Snuggles is very upset about it, and I understand that. You know, that's not okay. You know, it is not okay.
Yeah,
And
but again, if somebody does or says something about you, it doesn't give you permission to engage in abusive behavior. And this is the problem with Snuggles. I get it, but and I've known him a long time. He's came a long way, but he got the long way to go. He still has more work to do.
yeah, no, and I agree with you. You know, because we've all had stupid stuff said about us, Snuggles, and you have to have tough skin. If you don't develop tough skin on this app, and you're just lowering to them if you respond in that way. You know, as Angie's working through, as I'm working, as so many of us have been working through on this app, you know, we do have to remember this is a social app. It doesn't pay our bills. Well, some people it pays their bills, but but most of us, it's just a part-time fun thing to hang out on. And we need to remember that. We just do. And, you know, people are people. And, you know, I got caught on something laughing too. And, you know, humans are humans. You know, they're not thinking at the moment, they're responding to something. Doesn't make it right. I'm just saying we're human. So you going at someone for being human, I mean, unless you're perfect,
Right.
be careful.
Right.
Be careful. You know, you got to be
Yeah.
careful about that. We're all human. We really are. And I mean, I've heard some horrible misogynistic, racist things and people laughing in your life, Snuggles. So just be real careful that everybody just laughs and they're not thinking past that point. Does it make it right? No, but people are human.
Yep.
They just are. And
Tell
I
them.
think to to uh, to remember that you have the right to vote for who you want to vote for. That is your constitutional and American right, and we need to remember that. And
Yep.
we need to just keep working harder to get the truth out there as much as we can, guys. Honestly.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
but I
Those are
love you.
all very. All
Appreciate
right.
all
Love you
this.
too, and I appreciate you, Shay, having the ability to see it for what it is, and not only talk about your experiences, but talk about the good things that you do, and then some of the things you need to work on. I think that's why I'm doing this, because I'm with you. I know I do a lot of things that aren't necessarily great, but if I were to really be honest with myself, I could say, I could have probably said or did that better. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's the best way we can be. You know, when somebody comes around and owns it, take the take the advice, take it and say, "Okay, thank you," because that is a human growth point for that person
yep.
to say, "Hey, I fucked up. I'm so sorry. I didn't call you, excuse my French. I sorry.
Yep.
I messed up and keep it clean. But I
Yep.
messed up, and that's okay. They can do that. Now you can decide to forgive or whatever, but just remember that if you're not a forgiving person and you can't, you let things hold on and stuff, it's only affecting you.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing I can say out of my 52 years of life on this planet, that I've learned that anytime I hold anything against somebody, whether I'll hold a grudge or I hold anger or I hold unforgiveness in my heart, I'm only hurting me. In the end of the day, I'm only hurting me. So let people be humans. You can go about
Hmm.
your way if you want to, but don't let it be toxic.
Exactly.
You alone. Take care of you. And that's the thing I'm going to tell Jazzy on here. Honey, take care of you. You run a farm. You do such great work, and I want you to take time. I want you to schedule a massage or a pedicure.
Mm,
I want you to just take time for yourself, sweetheart. You need to do that, okay? Because you do a lot for people, and I
yep.
want you to take care of yourself, Jazzy, okay?
Jazzy, jazzy.
Yeah, you got a lot on your plate, girlfriend. So make sure you're taking care of you as you take care of so many people, okay? And Angie, you too, darling. Just breathe,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Just breathe.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
that's all I got. All right.
All right.
Peace
Thank
and
you,
love,
Shay.
everybody.
Peace and love.
All
Thank
right.
you, Shay.
All right. Love
All
you.
right. All
Bye.
right. Love you too. All right. Bye bye. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is, before we could get into the politics, we got to make sure our minds are right. All right. And that's why I'm doing this live today. All right. Snuggles.
Hey, how you doing,
Good.
Mr. Cross?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Definitely. This live was excellent. It brought me back to the old days
Mm-hmm.
where you did these kind of lives. This is how we became good friends. With all the people that are in this room, we started before all these people in this room. You and I have been friends well before Nutty Professor, well before Ange. You and I have come a long way, and I thank you for that. I needed this live today. And I'm kind of emotional at this
Why?
kind of live
Why? Why are you emotional? Because
because you know
you go through your share of you've gone through a lot on this app, and like I
absolutely
shared with Shay, uh, you've taken a lot of the things that I've shared, and you've done some work, and you've grown as a person, right? And
right, absolutely.
you and so where do you land on these things,
Okay, well, Um, I've been threatened. Obviously, I'm Snuggles. I mean, I think
right?
I've received the most threats on this app throughout. So it's been pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
the only thing when I get off this app is the only people I have are my family and the phone numbers I gave to the people on this app. Those are
Mm-hmm.
my family. And to get threats, like for my health and all that stuff, I don't channel that in. I just learned to separate that, and I learned to um, try to move on with that. Being a host, though, I cannot control the people in the comment section. That's
Mm.
the big thing. You and I cannot control the people in the comment section. Someone's threatening me. Someone's threatening me. So if I go to one of my fans and ask them to calm down or don't be threatening somebody, what do you think they're going to do to me? I don't know that person. What if they put pictures of my family up there? What if they do that? I don't know my fans either. Because there could be some crazed fans out there. There could be some crazed fans in your life. We don't know the people that are in our lives. That's why I can't stick up for a person as much. But what I do in my life is that, Greg was threatened, right? He was
Mm.
threatened by Chaos. So what I did is I blocked Chaos and I said, do not threaten to harm on my live. Don't harm anybody. Um, I love Greg. I love Nutty. I love everybody. I love Ange. I love Shay. Anyone I would stick up for, even attacking. If anyone was threatened during my life, you're out of the box.
Mm.
Period. You'll never come back to this box. I don't care if you're a good person. I don't care if you send me 100 DMs on how much you love my shows. You're not
Now,
welcome. I don't promote that. So I just want people to know I can't keep control of all the people. Zeus and I cannot control all the people that come into our boxes.
now, we only got a little more time, and
Right.
but I have to only go. I'm going to ask you one question, and then I'm going to bring Poker Dad up, and the three of us can have a conversation. All right?
Absolutely.
Because we're all family.
Absolutely.
Um, in terms of accountability for your conduct, because part of my message today, I
Right.
put Zeus aside, and I put Triple H aside, and
Right.
I'm bringing Mr. Crossing, and you were there when I've gone through several lives, and it used to be only 5 or 10 people in there, but we did it anyway.
Right.
The importance of protecting your mental health, the
Right.
importance of taking accountability for our own conduct on this app, the
Right.
importance of even though we're hosts, and you're right, we can't control what people do individually. We can't control what they're doing in the comments, but we
Right.
are definitely in a leadership role on this app. And so with that comes responsibilities, right? And so
Hmm.
the message today it was also to make sure we're aware that, there is this kind of abusive stuff going on out here. But the other
Right.
part of the message is, you know, having the ability to look in the mirror and acknowledge that you may be either engaging in the abuse directly or colluding with others to facilitate the abuse.
I will
And
not
there's a lot
partake
of
in
different.
that. I will not partake in that, Mr. Crossings. It happens to both of us. So when it happens to both of us, Mr. Crossings, you know it, I know it. It happens in both lives. You know Janae.
Well, I
You know
mean, but
everybody.
well, don't you
It,
don't we don't got to put names out there, but it's more
right. I'm
about
just saying.
us.
I'm just saying it partakes for both. So I'm not going to take accountability when we can't control the people that are acting in a certain way in their lives.
Hmm,
So I'm not
I
going to
get
take
that. Yeah.
accountability.
Well,
So,
I'm not saying you should, but I'm
right.
trying
But
to
I don't want
make
this to
sure.
be centered on me. I'm guarding myself, Mr. Crossings. You know me,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to Poker
because we're
Dad.
both going through
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, but
Uh huh.
people are being, when you're defensive, I think that's
Right.
when I know that I'm not getting through to you. So I wanted to bring Poker Dad up because
Yes.
he's
Poker
been
Dad.
monitoring our growth. All
Right.
right, and
Mhm.
he may have some insight on this. Poker Dad,
Please,
how are you doing?
please remember, Poker Dad and everyone, I am involved in WWE and Royal Rumble. I will throw people over the top rope at any moment. Thank you, Mr. Poker Dad.
I can't with you,
Because I know you
Snuggles, man.
guys are a tag team. I know you and Crossings are a tag team. I've seen it before, but we are family. I'm the sheep of the.
Let-
Snuggles, I don't tag team anybody.
Okay, go ahead.
I stand on the morals of truth.
Right,
I stand on what I see, and if you don't want to partake in what I see or listen to what I see, you don't have to.
absolutely.
It has nothing to do with Zeus. Has nothing to do.
Right,
It's just I've been here since the beginning, like Zeus said,
right,
and this is all I would say. Right? Way too much, and I'm not talking about just you right now. I'm talking about people in general because it's general human behavior.
right.
On this app, people want too much to match energies of the people on the other side of the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And we all know if we're out in these streets, people aren't going to match energies the same out on these streets.
Mm.
They get that TikTok courage out here, and they're going to act in ways they wouldn't normally act. And then the issue with that is we're going to get ourselves in a situation where we get our feelings hurt by it, and we can't allow that to happen. Whether it's right wing, left wing, whatever it is, people have their perceptions, and they're going to escalate their perceptions. We have to get to the point of where we can stand 10 toes down, and knowing that, hey, that's not what my intent was. I live my life every day. I do everything I do every day. I am proud of who I am. I'm going to speak with confidence. And if people don't agree with me, then they don't agree with me. The issue with this is when we get ourselves involved so much to where whenever something toxic is happening or something bad is happening and our face is seen in it, you're going to be who you're with. The crowds will be looking at you as you are who you're with. Now, if it's your life, you have the ability to control who's in the box and who's not, and you have done much better with that. Zeus has done pretty good with that. But when we're in other people's lives and we show up and our faces are in there when the nonsense is happening, people are equating that to the negativity that's going on in that box. Sometimes we just can't go in these other spaces because that's not who we are.
Hmm? Yep. Yep. I mean, and it took a long time for me to recognize that, right? You saw a lot of my earlier lives where it would go down literally on site, right? You say something bad about Zeus, I'm going to ratchet it up and turn up the temperature, and it became very, very toxic.
Yes,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
and I don't want to make this about you at all, Snuggles. I think today's
Thank you.
topic was more about
Everyone.
everybody looking in the mirror and doing that inspection on themselves in terms of identifying what kind of toxic behavior they are either doing or could be seen doing, and then taking whatever actions you can to correct it.
Absolutely. Yes. Um, yeah, I agree with you all. I just, if you don't like the heat in the kitchen, you got to leave, to be honest,
Yeah.
because this is for entertainment purposes only anyway. I mean, we shouldn't be taking all this stuff seriously anyway. When we get off this live, we have a life to live.
Mm.
I mean, my
Yeah.
mother was she worked neonatal ICU, so I can relate with Yazzie all the time because my mom came home crying all the time, and I didn't understand when babies died.
Mm.
So I can relate with Yazzie. So that's a personal level. Politics is like I tell everybody in my life, politics is 5%, not even 5%. Our lives are 99%, and politics is like 1%.
Yeah.
Not everybody talks a whole day about politics like you and I. We don't do that. Nobody talks about that all day.
Yeah.
Take a break if you don't like it. Move. You know what I'm saying? Move, just keep moving and get off this
Yeah.
app.
But you're right. Okay, now one last thing, and then I got to bring up Bamba, right? I think number
Oh,
one,
sure.
Bamba knows us.
Oh, sure.
I wanted to say
Bamba,
one more thing there, Zeus, and
oh,
I know you've heard this before, and I know Snuggles has heard this before as well. But TikTok as a whole, the personalities out here, I think people in general are inherently good people. No one wakes up every day trying to figure out how they can screw up the lives of a person on TikTok. There's some
Absolutely.
sort of issue going on when these things happen. It's internal. That being said, there are so many different sides to the conversations that happen out here that create these toxic situations. Why is it so important for us to be right? We will argue tooth and nail to prove how right we are. And it really doesn't matter. Do you want to be right or do you want to be righteous? Give your opinion, move on.
Exactly.
Accept other people's opinions. It is
Exactly.
not that important to be right.
Absolutely. Even though I am right all the time, I agree with you, Poker Dad. Absolutely.
okay. So Snuggles, I'm gonna bring Bamba Abbott because you
Okay,
still
go ahead.
all right. All right, Bamba, and Bamba's been with us for a while. So she has a very unique perspective. Hello, Bamba. How are
Well,
you?
I've been typing in cookies and nobody's reacting. Remember
Oh
when
my,
we used to type in cookies and we'd all die laughing?
yeah. I
Yeah.
Please don't encourage him to do his cookie poem.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the cookies.
I will read the cookie poem if you make me.
Yeah.
I will
Oh,
read it.
that might be a good thing to close out with.
Absolutely. Or
Yeah.
Jules' coworker poem. If Jules here, her coworker poem. That will get everybody.
Should I
Yeah.
read the
That's
cookies
back in the
poem
day.
before
We
we?
just say cookies and we'd all die laughing.
Should I read the cookies poem? I don't see a
Yeah, go
poem.
for it. Go for it.
If there's a poem, if a
Absolutely. I'm going
moderator
to get
could
back
give
to
us a
work,
poem.
Zeus.
All right.
Everybody have a good one. Okay, I'm going to get back to
Bye,
work.
All
Snugs,
right.
Take
but I
care.
wanted to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
come
right.
DM me, okay, please?
All right.
All right, thanks.
Let me get
Thank
this cookie poem queued up. It seems like people want to hear it. Get your. You bet. This is
Here we
rated
go.
Z. All right,
You
but
ready?
Bamba, what do you have to say before we, wrap things
Well,
up? It's been a
I wanted to tell you something. You know I do a lot of international stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
And you guys you're like, oh, let's worry about the states, but this international stuff does affect our states, and so there's things I don't share a lot of my personal information, like very rarely my real name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't share the town I live in. I don't talk about my children or my grandchildren. And I try to keep my personal life separate. Now, DMing I'll do, right? But here's the thing. There are very sinister people out here. There are people, I had one friend, the KGB got in contact with her. Now, that's
Wow.
enough to scare the crap out of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's soldiers looking for information on other soldiers. So
Mm-hmm.
you could share something and all of a sudden, pow, they're gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at pictures and you're listening to what people are saying, you can say, stop, too much information, stop, too much information. We need to be looking out for each other. This doxing I've seen it get really bad. I've seen people break into other people's accounts,
Right.
right? And when it gets that bad, when it threats, physical threats, that stuff gets bad. The FBI takes that stuff. You instead of accusing somebody online that they're
Mm-hmm.
doing something wrong, give it to the right people and let them
Yeah.
figure out,
Yeah.
and then wash yourself away from it, block it. But instead of reporting it to TikTok because they seem not to get it, report it to your FBI because it's cross state lines, and threats are threats, and some of them get really scary. They really do. And so, I've even somebody put out a hit list.
Mm-hmm.
That what do you do when you see that?
Wow.
So
You
you
got
turn
you got to
around and
report it.
I gave it to the FBI, right?
Yeah. Did
Here's
you?
the person. Yeah,
Yeah. You can't argue with people. And this is one of the points that I wanted to make. When
right,
you tell somebody that they're engaging in toxic behavior
right,
and they get defensive about it, you kind of got to leave them right there because
right,
they're not in a position to receive what you're saying. And so this is kind of the other side of what I'm talking about. If you don't allow that person to be left to their own devices, you yourself could then be engaging in abusive conduct, and
right.
then now you're part of the problem.
Or
And this
putting
is the
others
hard
in
part.
danger, right? You don't let other people put others in danger. You just
You
you
know,
just don't. And you
report. Yeah, you
you
can report.
report it,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
your power. You can do that. It's not going to
yep,
make you, put yourself at risk by reporting people. I mean, it shouldn't. But, when you start saying, I'm going to take my hammer and do all the damage I want to this person, you open yourself up. And
yeah,
that's,
and you better watch out because you don't know who you're up against. For example, I mean, this is maybe people don't. I don't know if people realize. So we all are familiar with Iran, right?
yeah.
Now, if you speak poorly about Iran, this has happened. I mean,
Hmm.
to they get on a private plane, they fly to your country, they grab you, and they take you back to their country, right? There's seriously people. Now, do I say you have to be quiet about Iran? No, but look and see who watches your videos, right? When people from countries who are utilizing this app are watching your videos, that you should be paying attention to that.
Hmm.
There is some real danger out there.
You're right,
I'm
Janae.
sure I'm sure the triple Ks, I'm sure some of them, we can't pretend that there isn't danger. So when we get involved in this drama, instead of protecting one another, we're going to be sorry. Just like Jazzy said, don't be responsible for somebody taking their life, but don't help somebody else take somebody's life either. So yeah, privacy to me is, that's the only way you can protect yourself. But I understand that the younger generations are okay with putting pictures of their kids up and putting pictures of their house up and I scream at my grandchild, don't show your room, don't show your house, don't show your city, don't, and she's like, Grandma.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so protect one another. That's the thing.
And practice cybersecurity. I mean, again,
Yes. Yeah,
this
I'm using a VPN. Yep.
I mean, no, well, not only that, but as well as what you're saying, yeah, this technology is great and it's fun, but if you're irresponsible and reckless with it, it can be
People.
the most dangerous thing on the earth. All right, you can launch, like you were saying earlier, people can launch terrorist attacks using
Yes.
Twitter with Twitter.
Yes. Well, even
So,
and TikTok. Yes.
mm,
Yeah.
and this is why I'm very, very cautious and deliberate about my messaging and how I deliver it, right? There's a lot of
Right.
things, I don't like at all. And when I talk to people and I tell them this is something that I have an issue with, and they don't do anything about it, whatever I decide to do about it, it will not be on TikTok.
Right. And I'll tell you what.
It won't be on this app.
I tell you
Sorry.
what. I have found some really cagey people
Oh
on
my gosh, look at the
on
title.
TikTok, but you know
Yeah,
what? I don't call them out.
no.
I block
You,
them, and if it's really bad, I do report it to the FBI. Right?
I mean, and that's your prerogative, right? But
Well,
what you
but I'll
don't
tell
do
you
is
what.
leave
It's not
evidence
for
of,
minimal. It's not for minimal things. I
yeah,
mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying if you don't like what somebody says, but if you're seeing threats that you feel are real, seriously real threats, then yes, you because there's nothing else you can do. That's it. That's
exactly,
all you can do. And I
exactly.
never call somebody out and tear them down on TikTok. If
It's
somebody
you open
attacks me,
yourself up when you do
no,
it. Listen,
yep,
like you're saying, Angela, your Facebook account's open. You go out here, and I've seen a lot of people do this. I'm going to call this person out, but meanwhile, you got all your social media accounts lit up
yep,
like it's Christmas. That same person that you went to call out, you thought you were getting them. They got a bunch of other people aimed at you, and your life is about to go through the ringer, right?
right.
Most likely, you should have just said, you know what? I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to be doing for myself, and I'm gonna move. Or if you do what you said, Bamba, report them and move on.
Yeah. Yep, and block them. Yeah, and don't.
Block
And
'em.
anybody who's, there's been some people who are
I'm trying to
really,
help people
really
save their souls. All right.
spooky. Yeah, really spooky. And then there'll be
Yeah,
people in the boxes with them laughing. Well, I'm like, wow.
it
If
is.
that was happening on the street, would you still be laughing? So I block them too, because if they're supporting that,
Yeah,
some people are being used and played and don't even know it. And
a sucker's
they're not
born
going to
every
let
day.
you, yeah, they're not going to let you open their eyes.
Nope. I
Yep.
mean,
So,
exactly. Now, listen, Bamba and Poker Dad, I do got to wrap it up because it's well
yep.
past my showtime.
Good conversation, buddy. Okay,
All
read
right.
the cookie poem.
All right. I'll read the cookie poem.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your morning, and I do hope you all enjoyed today's conversation. And I know it would have been nicer if I would have really gotten deeper into this, but I went as far as I can go without getting in trouble. So I thank all of you, and I do hope we all heard the feedback. All right, if there's anything that you have been made aware of today that someone has alerted you is potentially toxic, please do an assessment on it and just don't argue. I heard someone say, I'm feeling defensive. And I feel like because I'm defensive, I'm on edge and I gotta respond. All right, listen. I'm not gonna say it while you're in that defensive state because I know it'll only make you dig deeper into it. All right, I know that. But please, when you're by yourself and you're not as defensive, please give what you've heard people saying about you and your toxic ways, give it a second thought. There just might be something to what they're saying. And you can do the work on your own in private. You don't got to come back on social media and say, hey, everyone, I got it. We'll see it through your actions, right? But if you don't do the work, don't be surprised by how folks are treating you, all right? I've learned this on my own. It does suck because sometimes I'm like telling people, do what I say, do it. And they resist. And you're just like, you start thinking to yourself, like, am I not saying it loud enough? Am I not, eh, you know, do I need to do this? I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to go 5 days on this app and tell somebody they're being toxic and convince them. I'm not going to do it. These folks, they brand themselves as intelligent human beings, right? So there's no way I'm going to do it. All right. You're welcome, Kayla. And again, I want to make sure people understand. Uh, thank you, Rick. Take accountability for your conduct as much as you can. I know a lot of people are doing things that don't align with your belief system, but protect your peace as much as you can by making sure you're addressing your shortcomings. All right. Now, before I leave, you've asked very kindly, nicely, Bamba, and so I'll indulge the crowd with an old poem called "Cookies." Do you want to hear cookies, ladies and gentlemen? You want to hear cookies? Fine. All right. This is rated Z for Off the Rails. This means it's way beyond triple X. All right. Angela, and all you, Shay, I need to keep it clean. I normally read this with the cameras off. All right. When I'm doing poet talk with my good friend Italo. I don't know if Italo is here, but I wrote this poem because, this is what we used to do back in the day, right? This poem is called Cookies. I've never read this live, so this is going to be hilarious. Chocolate chip, peanut butter, Oreo. Oh, wait, who ate my Nutter Butter, huh? Chocolate chip and peanut butter, oh, what a joy they bring to my mouth when they are so moist and warm. All right. I dreamed like Martin Luther King that one day little black boys and little black girls could come together one day and drink milk together and eat these cookies. I know they say that if you leave cookies out for Santa Claus, he will leave you a good reward. Well, what do you think will happen if you leave me some cookies? Huh? I'm sure you would love to see me come down that chimney saying, ho, ho, ho. I love the way the ingredients come together when you mix them up in a nice round bowl and spread it all over the pan with your bare hands, right? 350 degrees? Why not? Why so hot? Why so hot? My favorite cookies are the ones that are soft and chewy with oatmeal and raisins. I mean, if you like your cookies hard, what does that tell you? All right. I think it means you like to dip your cookies in Santa's milk. Why so hot? Snickerdoodles and ginger snaps are my favorites, as well as the gingerbread man. I love me some whoopie pie. They are pillowy and oh my gosh, what was I thinking when I wrote this? I love me some whoopie pie. They are pillowy and marshmallowy. And yes, they are chocolate cookies. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the cookie poem. All right, I got to get out of here. Take care and have a great rest of your morning. What a show. Jesus Christ. I'm out of here. Cut it out. Cut it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. What a show, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. Thunder in the sky, light you up like Zeus. Thank you. I'm fighting an eagle and got bread on me too. Thank you, everyone. Great live. I got money on my mind. I can't leave it up to you. Rick. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Bamba. Thank you, Poker Dad. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Nago. Who else is here? Nutty. Yes, I saw you. Let's go. Thank you, Jazzy. Yes. I tried to be patient. Thank you, Janae. Listen, you're amazing, Janae. I'll be back tomorrow, though, bringing my hammer down on the politics. You know I'm so handsome. That's why they call me Zeus. This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. I like to act a fool when I'm looking like Zeus. Bingo! Yeah, Mountain Negro, I see you, Jim. And
Angela, you're amazing. You really are. Thank you for coming up too. You say you want it next, well, I'm living proof. I've been waiting for this moment now. I gotta choose. You like that, Miss Boss Diva? You like that? You like that, Mrs. Silk? Oh yeah. Oh, you got your cookies.
People telling me be cool, I'm sitting on my throne.
Why you looking like a goof?
Hey, with the truth. Yeah, grab your goose. Hey, little mama, let me play with your caboose. I know the ladies love me cause I'm sweet like a tooth. You're hating on the gods, boy, you're such a douche.
I tried to be patient, but you had to light my fuse. I'm catching all these snakes like I'm on goose. These ladies love me, yeah, I'm the one that choose. Cut it out, Miss Boss Diva. Cut it out. Keep it clean.
This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. I like to act a fool when I'm moving like Zeus. I be with my mood when I'm moving like Zeus. You're thinking that you're cool till I pull up like Zeus. Burning in the sky like
Native instruments in full effect. Slick as Rick. Good job. You know what it is. You know that? I really am. Good morning, Tracy. Sound mind on the beat, kicking hard like groove. Long trees on the beat. You better call it truth, ladies and gentlemen. I can dance with box. Cut it off. Lindsay on the beat like Zeus. Lindsay. Need to love. RMC. Let's do it.
Once you're right, they turned it into 36 charges. He's deranged. Jackson. He's deranged. Jackson. He's deranged. Donald Trump was indicted and they take one charge and they turn it into 36 charges. Deranged Jackson. And he's a big Trump hater. Openly, he's a Trump hater. And his wife is even more of a Trump hater.
All right. And by the way,
every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of courage.
I knew it. Have a great rest of your morning, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great